Okay, let's start this out with a nice joke.
Yeah.
What does a saxophone player call an eighth note rest? A wasted opportunity. old chestnut, but I deharmonized it. I don't know it yet, so I just started playing it, so I've got to look at it. But it's called There'll Never Be Another You. You don't mind if I sit? I'm an old motherfucker, so I can. But you count it.
1, 2, 2.
anything.
What's your approach to sound? Like, what do you practice for sound?
You know, that's a great question. You know, everything. How about that? You know, I always think I'll have students who come in with a perfect embouchure, perfect, great equipment, and they don't particularly get a great sound. I have somebody come in with a terrible horn that look like the embouchure is all messed up. They get a great sound. So the first thing is you want to hear a good sound. You know, you got to hear a good sound. So sometimes I'll just sit there and say, what do I want to sound like? You know, I'll just use my imagination and I'll think about how much treble do I want, how much bass do I want, how much do I want it to project, how much air is in the sound, how much, thank you. Yeah, you can even put that on the side of the stage if you want, that way, yeah. You know, what color the sound is. So, and I'll just sit there and play long tones in my mind all over the horn and try to think about what I want to sound like. Other than that, it's not only what it sounds like, it's what it feels like to play. So it's even, to me, the most important thing is not what it sounds like, it's how it articulates. Because I can get a mouthpiece that sounds great, and I just can't play time on it. So then I'm looking for the one that I can play time on it, and somehow the sound always ends up sounding like I sound. But I'm looking for something that feels good to play. It just feels right.
Yeah, that has the flexibility in the response.
Response.
Yeah.
So the note comes out, when you're hearing the note come out, it comes out where you hear it. Sometimes you'll get a mouthpiece and it'll be too quick, or that's too delayed.
Yeah.
So equipment does matter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, especially with a mouthpiece. It starts with the mouthpiece, you know, in the reed combination. Yeah, that matters.
And we can just as well ask, you know, what is the mouthpiece and reed you're playing now?
This?
Somebody has to ask it.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
I have 5 mouthpieces with me. I mean, I could go through all 5 of them. no problem.
Okay.
But this is a Drake. They're all Drakes, and
Okay.
this is an 8. I have a 10-star Drake with me. It's cool. And I was playing that for a long time. I just went back to playing an 8 again.
And I'm not really into the Drake. What is it? A specific type of Drake?
It is. It's called the Presence model,
Presence.
which is basically a Selmer soloist opened up to an 8.
Okay.
It's a Selmer soloist. And then there's another one called Power Chamber, which is like a slant signature link with a slightly raised floor for today's modern rhythm sections that they're louder, so more volume.
Yeah.
Is it the one you put your name on?
Yes.
Okay. What about it? And the reed?
Yeah.
Oh, the reed is a 3 soft. Rico Select is it Dario Select or Rico Select? I forget.
Yeah, something.
Rico Select unfiled. And on the 10-star, I play the same reed.
Rico Select 3 soft, unfiled.
Yeah. It makes me think maybe it's the reed that I play that I like the most. You know, and everything goes around it, you know. But sometimes I play it too hard on the 10-star if I haven't played it for a while.
But it's actually the same reed for all the mouthpieces, even though there's a pretty big difference.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, when I first started playing the 10-star, I used a 2.5.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then when I got used to it, I played the 3 soft. And George Garzone, my good friend, he plays a 4 hard on his 10-star. I don't know how he does it.
No. Shit, man.
You know?
It's a reed called Jazz Select or Rico Select, isn't it?
It's Jazz Select, isn't it?
The white box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the white box. I usually have some with me. I think they're all in my suitcase, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the white box.
Yeah, the white box. Yeah, that's the one I use.
Yeah.
For a while, I was using a Lavos, but then they changed it up somehow, and I don't like them as much. I had some old boxes that were great.
Still? Wait, you still have some old boxes?
I had 10 old boxes, and I was using them. Then somebody came over, a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, I love those old boxes." So I gave them all to him because I.
Oh. Okay.
was thinking something like rhythmic flexibility, and you know you do your
Yeah, I
holy
practice that a
rhythms
lot.
and
That's
rhythmic
what I
flexibility.
practice.
Yeah, like the groupings, like triplets and groupings in 4.
Yeah, I
and
do
that kind of-
groupings in 5, 7s,
Yeah.
9s.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
how you?
Well, I started out I'd make myself these play-alongs, because
Yeah.
I just play 2 5s forever, you know, but it's like
Yeah.
slow it down, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4. And I say, I'm just gonna play quintuplets all day.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it wasn't like daga, 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 daga. It's like daga, 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 daga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, so they sounded like.
So you make it sound fluent. You want me to get a pianist for you, or do you wanna?
Or, yeah,
Do you need
a pianist.
accompaniment?
Yeah.
Yeah, get
drummer.
Carl and Anders.
Carl and Anders.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's different than a triplet.
Yeah.
So when a drummer hears me play that, they say, "Oh, he's playing triplets," and they play all triplets, and it's even harder for me to play. You know? Please, poor favor.
Poor favor. Oh, Jerry.
How to ruin a language with 2 words, right?
Poor favor. Okay, I remember that.
My parents were,
No.
their first language was Italian, but they never spoke Italian to me. So somewhere in my mind, foreign languages, I'm not supposed to understand that. Anders, just play like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are triples, and I'm gonna play like 5. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm gonna play 7. Thinking like that when I'm playing, but I'm just I'm feeling all those gears.
Yeah.
So when I'm playing 1, 2, 3. You go from one gear to the next and mess around with the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah. Yeah. So while you're playing, you're not.
If you
really...
get the other guys, I'll play it on a tune. You'll
Yeah.
really do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But they will lift.
They left.
Oh, they left.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case, I'll do it on piano.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Going between gears.
Yeah.
It's-
Can
it's-
you-
So you can do it another way. You can say, I'm just going to play rubato.
Yeah.
It's easy.
So, I mean, that's. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I'm just thinking. Yeah. I mean, just to make it like really into an exercise. If I want to practice, so you recommend
Okay.
that like let's say I want to practice like 5.
Okay, I'm
yeah.
gonna play quintuplets, but I'm gonna play a bebop scale.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
here's a
Yeah.
bebop scale in eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm gonna play it in 5, so instead of going down, so keep playing on this, and I'll keep talking. So now I'm gonna go past the root and go down to the 7th. 2, 3. The triplets goes down to the 3rd, then a 7th. Individuality, individuality, individuality. 1, 2, 3. That's a 7.
Yeah, so the bebop scale is a good tool.
That's a
to-
great one, because
a
you can
great
really
tool.
hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9s, I go figure, well, there's three triplets in a 9, you know, I
Yeah.
can do it like that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I go, Charlie Parker BMW, Charlie Parker BMW, Charlie Parker BMW, 1, 2, 3, 4. Charlie Parker BMW, Charlie Parker BMW, Charlie Parker BMW, Charlie Parker BMW. I'm not doing such a great job, but it might reach too soft too, but anyway.
Yeah. So yeah. But the bebop scale is one
That's,
tool.
you can
yeah.
really line it up with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least to start with, right?
Yeah, I mean to start
Yeah,
out
it's
because
great.
you just
It's great.
to get it.
Actually, here's another one that's really good. If I want to do 5s, and I just do regular scales, sometimes I just go, say, I'll start out Lydian. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I go up to the 11, that's right.
Okay.
Shot fucked up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go. I'm doing all the modes. So I'm doing all the modes like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And then I finally go down a half step and do the same thing. For 7s, I could just go up to the root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or for triplets, for 9s, I go up to the 10th.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you could do it that way. Or I could do the short game. I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, Do it that way. Just go up to the fifth. So another way is like. I'm too fast. One, two, eighth notes. Five. That was seven. Oh, I do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a 7.
Oh my god. Yes. Okay, work.
Just what I wanted to do. Go to another country and destroy people's lives.
Go to Russia. Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russia, right?
Go to Russia. Could we talk about the necessity of complex rhythm? I have heard you said that.
So, So instead of playing the modes, I'm going, I'm practicing all the modes with a rhythm.
Right.
So, and then I'll just take these rhythms, and so I'm just gonna improvise with this rhythm. Then I'll do the same thing a beat early. Then 2 beats earlier, same rhythm, and it sounds completely different.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And then it gives you rhythmic flexibility. You can come on any beat.
So an arbitrary rhythm. You
Yeah,
just pick
well,
one,
I,
just pick
you
one.
know, for me, I just look at Charlie Parker rhythms, right? What's better than that? I don't know anything,
No.
you know?
Yeah.
So I just look at the Omni book and I'll say, I'm gonna take that rhythm right there. Take that rhythm. Because he's playing some really sophisticated rhythms. That wasn't into like groupings of 5 or 7 or thing like that, but, you know, just for regular rhythms, man, you can't get better than that.
Speaking of Charlie Parker and Omnibooks transcriptions,
Yeah,
you still do it? You still transcribe?
yes, I do.
After all
But, you
these
know,
years?
but people say, well, I've never transcribed. If you're listening, you transcribe it. Right? Well, I don't transcribe. Well, do you listen to music? Yeah, of course I do. How could you? Well, you transcribe it. But if you want to take the time and the effort to see, sometimes, you know, when I was a kid, I just played along with records all day. I put the LP on, I dropped the needle. Oh man, what was that again? Drop the needle, and that's why my records are all scratched to shit. But
But if you transcribe something, say a bird solo, you do
Yeah.
the whole thing? Like you...
I usually do
Usually,
the whole
okay,
thing.
right.
Yeah. Later on, I'd say, oh man, what was that line? I'd get the line, you know.
Okay.
But I remember saying, you know, I was transcribing Coltrane solos. I couldn't play along with the record and get it, you know. So I'd put it on my reel-to-reel
Oh, right.
and do it half speed and it's down an octave, you know.
Right.
And do it like that. And I'd sing a phrase and write it down, sing a phrase, write it down.
Is that your technique? You sing the phrase, you write down, and then you play it?
Yeah. Well, for that, but otherwise, I could learn how to play it with the record, but these were solos I couldn't learn, you know, I
Yeah.
needed to do that.
Okay.
So if it's sort of it's easy enough, then you just play along.
Yeah.
And you don't write it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to have this student, he was kind of an amateur tenor player, a wonderful guy, and he would come in every week, and he wasn't interested. He said, man, could you transcribe this for me? Could you and I would sit there and transcribe these really easy solos and write them down for him, you know, like
Yeah.
little Sonny Rollins excerpts and
Yeah.
Lester Young and Louis Armstrong solos.
Yeah.
And I got really good at it and fast. But I always think if somebody came up to you and said, hey, look, you're going to get a $10,000 prize if you could transcribe this solo and play it, would you sit there and just do it? You know, what's the fastest way to get it down? I could just write it down and just, you know, it's easy.
Yeah.
So whichever easy. I think the advantage of writing it down for me is, man, listen, look at his rhythms, the way he's developing. You know, I can analyze it
Yeah.
in a intellectual way. So yeah, he's coming in on beat 3 and all the time, where I might not
Yeah.
notice that.
Mm.
Or look at this substitute here. So
Yeah.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. They're both great.
Okay. Do you do anything like to, one thing is, you know, actually transcribing it, but then applying it. Do you have any considerations about that? And, you know, to absorb it.
To absorb it,
And
yeah,
actually-
when you play it again, you might get your favorite lines and play them in all keys.
Right.
You know? Yeah. I mean, I have books at home that, lines that I played in all keys. You know, who knows how many. Books full of lines in all keys. I can't remember them, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think when you're transcribing, so how is the energy and intonation and connection to the rest of the band? I think when I'm transcribing, I'm only I'm not listening to the whole solo, but I like some phrases that have certain energy, and I think that's when I'm playing together with people, then when I get that energy, it's just well, I react in that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's.
So you're saying that a lot of times you can transcribe, but you don't hear it unless the band is giving you the energy that you're hearing on the record?
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, well, the same is true with all of us, for sure. And that's why replicating something is one thing, but improvising in the present moment's a whole other thing, you know? Yeah, it's, you know, sometimes, like, you'll go to the gig, I want to play this way. That's not the way the band's playing, you know? So you just got to tune into the band and come up with something else. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Phrasing. Of course, Christian was my teacher also, and we all taught to, you know, you gotta transcribe, and listen to the big sax players. But I was wondering, do you have a different approach, or you know, if you listen to singers, or how do you? Is it mostly by transcribing, or do you know, some people they phrase well by singing it first, or singing a lot, and then I was wondering if you had like a secret.
Well, that reminds me of something. There was a teacher at Berkeley College of Music. Thank you, Anders. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
And his name was John Laporta. And he had a course called Melody and Improvisation. And that's what he would do. He would have you sing these phrases with certain syllables. You know, dot, dot, a do, you know, and just the way he sang them, he swung, you know, and so yeah, you've got to hear the phrases like they're vocal, for sure, and listening to vocals sing tunes, but when you listen to all the great players, whoever your favorite players, you listen to the way they phrase and their articulations and their sound. Especially saxophone players, we can hold out a note where other people might not be able to because of the decay of the note. So we use that to our advantage.
Do you use singing in sort of in your own? Have you used like singing in your own?
Oh yeah, I'm always
like
thinking,
singing
like,
solos.
To me, it's all about singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you study with Laporta, or?
I was in John Laporta's youth band because I grew up in the Boston area.
Yeah.
So when I was in the 11th and 12th grade, I was one of the featured soloists in his Greater Boston area youth band.
Uh-huh.
And he used to kick our butts, you know. He used to really tune us in if we weren't doing something right. Oh, he was great, but he always could sing the parts, and he was amazing. What a great musician and a great educator.
Yeah, I only saw him once, but so unfortunately.
When I was studying with Joe Viola, you know, 10th, 11th, 12th,
Yeah, me too.
he's the one who got me involved with that, so.
Yeah, he was a good man.
He was great.
Viola. You studied with him? too?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, yeah.
And Laporte also.
And
Oh, wow.
Laporta.
Yeah, he was tough.
So,
Really tough.
yeah, so John Laporta, was it sort of an ear training, or
It was
theory
like-
training, or what?
Well, I never had him as a teacher,
No,
but
band leader.
But a band leader, I remember one day, he stopped the band, he said, man, he said, you're moonbagging, it was my solo, you're moonbagging. I said, what's moonbagging? You know, I'm making the changes. Because I'd be home practicing with Lake Coltrane records all day, you know,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
and I'd come in, I'd try that, you know.
Yeah.
And then he stopped the band, you're moonbagging. I said, man, when he did, it's the greatest thing that ever happened, because I really got I'm going to really learn how to play chord changes, you know.
So moonbangs, or you're faking, or was that what he
No,
used? meaning,
not
or what?
faking, you're just not delineating the changes correctly.
Yeah,
Or
so-
whatever.
I heard you call it harmonic precision,
Yeah,
that term.
yeah.
That you-
So it's a good, so I can be harmonically precise,
yeah,
for sure.
if you want
I can
to.
spell out the changes, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
People said, are you aware of the changes when you're playing? And well, could you say that to a piano player? Is he aware of the changes when he's playing?
Yeah, of course.
So it's the same for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not spelling, oh, this is a D minor 7, D, F, A, C. No, I'm not doing that, but I realize it's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like the rest of you, no different. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like covering it in many ways. You know, one thing is voice leading, but then also being able to play more modern stuff
Yeah,
or different concepts. Like I think I saw a video of you triad pairs and stuff like that.
yep.
Yeah.
Right. Do you ever like practice a whole tune like just triad pairs over the whole
Try everything.
triad pairs?
Yes, okay.
Triad peers, sure, I mean, for practice, but I've never, when it comes to playing, all that stuff goes out the window. The less mind, the better. I have trouble enough just hooking up and just trying to play something, you know, but I'm not thinking of anything.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
I was thinking more about, you know, when you practice. Do you
Yeah,
ever-
when I'm practicing, I'm thinking.
Right. Okay.
So I might say, oh, I'm gonna try this triad pair, and I'll think of one triad pair over a particular harmonic, you know, as a harmonic device,
Right.
and play it, you know. I might play it without, and, you know, just to try some different, like, instead of playing 3 of one, 3 of the next, I might play 3, 2, 3, 2, so it comes up as a 5, you know.
Okay.
Can you explain that? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, so. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Okay.
And what triads did you just play?
I just play D minor and C sharp minor.
Oh.
Can you do that again slowly?
So like it sounds good. So like a Freudian sound. Yeah. So also tying in with the rhythmic flexibility, you know, and
Yeah, well, I was just thinking eighth notes here, stem, but I could play them in quintuplets.
right. Okay.
But then I'd lose defeat the purpose of
Yeah,
playing
that's
over the
true,
bar
yeah.
line, you know.
That's
So I could do
beautiful.
4 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
two and one, you know. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What happens if you stop thinking when you're playing key?
It kind of jams me up. I mean, I can still play. I mean, it's not like you're not thinking, but
No.
a lot of the thinking's below the threshold of your consciousness. You know, it's like I don't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, but somewhere I am. So, I mean, sometimes if I'm home practicing, I'm going to try this on the gig. Then I'm thinking a little bit, but I don't want to sound like terrible. So it's, you know, just know when to stop thinking. Yeah, yeah, you have to know when to. It's almost like yeah, you get 100% like no mind, or then you're bringing in like 10% of like this stuff, you know. Just, oh, let me try a little bit of it, you know.
You have to know when to stop thinking.
They asked Sonny Rollins, she said, Sonny, what do you think about when you play? He said, you can't do that. Perfect answer.
Yeah.
It actually is. Yeah.
What's your favorite jazz record?
I couldn't give you one.
3.
How about 10?
That works too.
Juju by Wayne Shorter, Speak No Evil by Wayne Shorter, Kind of Blue, Crescent, Live at the Village Vanguard, Nuke's Time, Live at the Village Vanguard, Sonny Rollins, Joe Henderson, The Real McCoy, Unity by Larry Young, in urge. How many did I get so far?
Almost enough.
Yeah, almost. enough.
How do you practice ear training and just connecting your ears to your horn?
Uh,
Or how did you do that?
I sing a lot, you know, I'll just, or anything you, as soon as you're practicing your ear training, you're using your ears to practice, you know, you see how this sounds, how's that sound, how's this sound. So I'm thinking about that a lot, but if I knew somebody who was good at making an app, I'd like to make some ear training apps. If you know anybody, give me a call.
There's one by Stephen Harris.
Stephen Harris? Yeah.
What's that called?
Double check, but he made basically an app where you can practice everything in 12 keys and you can go advanced levels.
Yeah.
It was like maybe 5 years ago when he made it.
Yeah. So, you know, solfege, singing tunes, singing solos. You know.
Singing whole solos?
Yeah, sing a whole solo.
Oh man. I mean, with the record, just.
No, just you're playing the piano or gotta play along, and you're singing a solo.
Okay.
So
right.
you're hearing what you're playing.
Right. Okay.
And not only saxophone players, I imagine, or what?
No, any instrument, yeah.
Tristano, I took, I don't know, Liebman told me that he took lessons with Tristano, and Tristano had this thing, he taught him asked him to learn to play Sinatra, sing along with Frank Sinatra, for instance. You know the Tristano approach?
I don't know that, but I
No.
play Frank. People ask me what I listen to at home, I listen to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His phrasing is amazing.
It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
yeah. It just it puts me in a good mood.
Yeah.
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 How did you end up writing all these jazz improvisation books?
Because during when I grew up, people didn't teach jazz. I mean, Joe Viola, you know, even taking lessons from Joe, he taught the saxophone mostly, you know?
Yeah, you studied with him.
Yes, Joe Viola.
And yeah, okay. Yeah.
When I was in high school. And so, yeah, I called people up, do you teach jazz? No, just listen to records, learn tunes. Listen to records, learn tunes. I even called up Wayne Shorter. No, I don't teach. So I had to invent things that I thought would help me. And from doing that, so when I was teaching, I could pass it on to other people. And people said, you should put those in a book format. So I have. And I used to make some money. I mean, not a lot, but not that they sold the business to advanced music, sold it to Schott music. I barely see anything. So
They sold it to whom?
Schott Music,
Schott.
a German company.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and students come, yeah, I downloaded all your books for free online. It's the way of the future, I don't care.
Yeah.
Questions?
I saw you playing in Jazz Club in Copenhagen.
Oh,
Yeah, and you changed your mouthpiece.
yeah, well, I have several with me.
And just took and started playing again in pitch and everything.
Yeah,
So what happened?
well, you know when I go play with a different rhythm section, they all play different. So I said, man, I'm gonna try this one, because I have a mouth, these guys play more on top of the beat, or on the beat. So, this one works with a drummer I played with in Boston, but then when I play this, I noticed the up tempos, wow, this is kind of lagging a little bit. So I got one that really is like more, I can, especially with Carl, I'm really playing on top of, you know, saxophone players don't do that, you know. So I got a mouthpiece that plays more on top, and it felt more comfortable playing with the rhythm section.
So it reacts faster.
It reacts
Yeah.
faster, slightly.
Slightly, yeah.
But you'd say that saxophonists in general play more behind the beat? Or?
Well, the tenor saxophone, definitely, not the alto or the soprano. You can hear Coltrane, for example, when he's playing softly as the morning sunrise. I mean, sometimes his time just floats on the time. But when he's playing tenor, it's slightly behind. It comes a little later than the soprano for sure. Matter of fact, when Roy Haynes is playing drums, Coltrane sounds a little labored. Wayne always sounds labored.
Labored. It's like
Labored.
late.
Not
laid
lazy.
back.
Like he's
Working-
pushing
working.
the time, pushing it out.
Okay, pushing it ahead. Okay.
Yeah,
Like
pushing to get it out. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
With Joe Henderson, it's just effortless. It's just
Yeah.
he can do anything, ahead, behind, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like,
Equipment. Wayne Shorter played a 10-star. Joe Henderson played a D Selma with a medium soft reed.
Yeah. Who did you study with besides Joe Viola? Yes.
Yeah, when I first started, I studied
Yeah.
with a person. His name was Maury Sachs.
Okay.
And
His
but
last
when
name
I
was
was 8
Sachs?
years old, 9 years old,
Yeah.
10 years old.
Yeah.
But after that, it was Joe Viola.
Viola was your sort of most important
Yeah, he was
teacher.
one of the most important.
Yeah.
I had 3 lessons with Joe Allard too that were great.
Yeah.
He would talk about the Boston Red Sox for 59 minutes. He'd come and see me play at this club, Michael's Pub in Boston, and he'd come in all the time and hear me and say, "Yeah, I like your sound. You don't need." But then he would tell me something in 1 minute that was worth the price of 100 lessons. I used to think, is this guy psychic? He knew exactly what I needed and
Yeah.
told me, and he did that 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
what did he say?
The first time, he told me that the sides of my lip right here should be loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, Joe Viola said, just wrap them around the reed.
Yeah.
He said, blow air out of the bottom of your lip while you're playing. So. So right now, I'm going to drop an octave. Check it out. Without, no, I'm not using an octave key. No effort. See what? So this is so loose, and it's if I try. That's if I'm wrapping around. I don't wrap around. So that thing. So the barometer of the pressure that I use from the middle octave to it's infinitesimal. I can jump octaves or in like you
Because you're relaxed here.
right here.
Right. And oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
We used to we said put pencils here.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
So that,
So-
yeah.
for the whole register, even when you're playing really, high horn?
So I've done it so I can go. Yeah, I can do that, but of course, the octave key's gonna help you.
Yeah.
But even side keys and palm keys?
Even the palm keys, but I usually just go up to high C, but he said, don't do it above F,
Okay,
but I do.
okay, right, okay.
Yeah. I think I think you can find something on YouTube or something with him, some interview
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
he was amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. And he and Joe Viola did not like each other,
Really?
not at all. And he said, tongue with the tip of your tongue. I can, but Joe said tongue further back. That's right tongue usually.
Yeah.
He said keep your tongue high in your mouth. Joe Allard did. Said like you're saying Disney, Disney. Because the air shoots through quicker. Joe Viola used to say keep your tongue low. I don't know what the hell I do. I do it all to get the sound that I'm looking for.
Yeah. But Joe was such a sweet man.
So great. You can't get better than him.
No.
And when you heard him play, see, Joe Allard never played. Joe Viola played. When he played, you go, you know. I'd sit home and practice these etudes all week long on the tenor. I'd come in, he'd play them on alto, transpose them, and never make a mistake. I mean, I'm fucking up all the time, you know, but was ridiculous.
Yeah, the advanced studies, maybe those.
Not his hands, he had me playing these Ernest Leon A2s,
Oh, okay,
Marcel
yeah.
Mule and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He just transposed it was like it was
Yeah.
nothing for him, you know?
Yeah.
I would like to ask about the sound and volume, because it seems like they go together. Like comparing, there was a question about soft sound, playing in microphone,
Yeah.
and Stan Getz came up, and Joe Henderson came up, and some other players. Don't think. There was a video with Coltrane playing with Stan Getz, and you have two different.
Yeah, what do you think of that video?
Well, I I have my favorites, but
Well, tell me, who's your favorite on that?
Coltrane. But I've learned to appreciate Stan Getz more. It's there's big beauty in his sound.
Yeah.
But it's just some comparing these two. It's very.
I think
They're so different, and
I
that's.
love that video because his Coltrane, and you know, they're playing next to each other. Don't think they weren't trying to play good, you know. Coltrane is playing quintessential Coltrane.
Yeah.
They're playing Hackensack, I think.
Yeah.
And then Stan comes in, doesn't get his feathers ruffled. He plays perfect Stan Getz, you know. It's like two different things, like oranges and apples. Thank God we don't all play alike, you know.
And also with the piano, Oscar Peterson.
Oscar
takes over
Peterson,
from,
yeah.
Winther Kelly.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of the saxophone.
But people say about Joe Henderson, he's one of my all-time favorite players. Yeah, Joe had a small sound. No, he didn't. He had a big sound, it just wasn't loud.
Yeah.
But it was full.
Yeah. There's another one, Dexter Gordon and Ben Webster. They made a recording, a live recording.
Oh man, I have to
was,
check that out.
Very surprised to hear them, because also they're obviously very different.
Very different.
So sometimes maybe the recording of the players adjusts to the player. We know this guy, he has this sound, this is how we record. So they played next to each other, and it was great, both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, to you know, I always tell people when they can't get a sound, I just said, take the neck off, mouthpiece and neck. And it's an E concert. Ugly, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want this. Okay? I'm totally messing the sound up. I want the E, and I want to play long tones with the E, and I want it to sound like a tenor saxophone. Even though it never will, I want to. For alto, it's an A flat, unless you're a tenor player. No, for an alto player, it's a G sharp. If you're a tenor player playing the alto, it's an A flat. So you get that E, and you get it to really resonate. You put it on the horn, look up. I think for the baritone, it's an F, but I forget. Yes.
False fingerings. I noticed that you're doing quite a lot. I don't know if you call it false fingerings, but blowing, you know, over. Hvad hedder det?
Yeah,
False fingering.
false fingering.
False fingering.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about how you practice
so,
it? If you practice it, it sounds
well, I
like
used to practice it.
You used to practice it.
Yeah, but you know, from listening to Coltrane when he's doing all that. But all the old guys, they had their special fingerings that they use, you know.
Yeah.
Sonny Stitt and Dexter, and I hear Joe Henderson do a lot too, and Joe Lovano does a whole bunch. But basically, I'm playing, to practice it, I'm playing a B flat scale, and making it come out in F scale. So
Yeah.
that's how I practice it.
Yeah.
But I'll put it in the middle of a line, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
like you know.
But that's, what about just playing, a fifth below?
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
fifth below.
Yeah,
It's an
right.
octave in a fifth, but it's a fifth below.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. But also just, what's his name, Sigurd Rascher, regular.
Sigmund Rascher, yeah.
Yeah, regular overtone practice. Did you ever do that,
Not much.
Okay.
I mean, I'll do the, sometimes I'll play on. So I'm doing it when I'm playing, but I don't practice it really. I just,
Okay.
because if you do the thing where I'm saying no pressure, I don't use any pressure when I play. It comes out easy.
So, yeah, I think I've heard you say you have the no embouchure or something.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like loose. I'm loose as a goose. It's just you can pull the saxophone right out of my mouth. It's just loose. It's all air. Here's my embouchure.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you play so loud.
I can play loud.
Yeah, you do. I heard you yesterday almost without microphone. You
Well,
played in Wien, Denmark. It was very loud. It sounds
Okay.
good. It's a part of your sound, I guess.
well, I've had to because sometimes, just to have an impact with the rhythm sections I play with, a lot of times I'm on a gig with no mic,
Yeah.
Right.
you know?
Could you talk a bit about composition and composing, and maybe thinking about old school jazz and newer jazz musicians, maybe if there's someone to look out for or something like that, someone you maybe have discovered or.
Well, from teaching, I get to hear all the young people play because my students always go, oh, have you heard this? Have you heard that? So I'm get so many ideas, But as far as composition goes, I've written a lot of tunes, and I can't say there's one method I use. It's like I get inspired from listening to it, saying, I'm going to write a tune like that. And it'll end up sounding nothing like the tune I wrote, that I heard, but I got some inspiration from it. Maybe there's one thing in my mind that is connected to that, but sometimes I'm thinking of a rhythmic device, I'll write a tune. Sometimes it's some harmonic devices, Sometimes I'll sing a phrase, I'll play the chord that I hear, then I'll sing the next phrase, and then I'll play a chord, then I'll sing a phrase, so it's organic like that. Sometimes I think I'm just going to write on a standard set of changes, but I'm going to write a new melody. Sometimes I'm going to write some notes that are outside, like sharp 15s or things like that I'll write on the melody, so.
Sharp 15s.
Do you ever use both the saxophone and piano, or do you ever just sit down by the piano and okay, stay here, this is my tool now? Or
Say that again?
do you have a specific way of finding the melodies? Do you ever sit just by the piano and just stay by the piano and say, this is my tool, I need to do something?
Yeah, absolutely. I've done that. Yeah, I'll sit by the piano and just get something till I like it. Sometimes, being on the road as much as I have, I'll sit down and say, I'm going to write without anything. And then I'll just write 5 tunes in an afternoon, And I might tweak them a little. But I just force myself to write. I just say, I'm just going to write this. I get this idea, I'm just going to write. Not hurting anyone, And I always, when I do these clinics, I say, man, I got a secret. Do you want me to share it with you? He goes, oh, yeah. I said, don't really care how it sounds. If I sit here and try to write the perfect tune, I'll be here for 6 months. I'll end up with a tune I don't even like that much. But if it's just little improvisations, I end up kind of liking them. They're just little thoughts and just little thing that came and things like that. Sometimes, like I was writing a tune called Extra Extra. It's a blues with 2 extra bars
Oh,
to
right.
it, you know. So, or I'll think, I'm gonna write a 10-bar blues. I just wrote this tune, it was 13 bars. You know?
Okay.
And it sounds natural to me, so.
Could you say a little bit about harmonic precision, how you recommend training? If you had a student who has poor harmonic precision,
Well-
what do you recommend them to do?
Well, I'll tell them, like, I'm gonna get some really basic things. I'll say, okay. So my reed doesn't dry out. I'll say, okay, let's play the tune All the Things You Are. So the melody is, the melody's the third. I say, okay, now I'll play the, instead of playing the third, play the fifth on every bar. I'll play the ninth. Now I'll play the 11th, a sharp 11 for major and dominant. Another 13. So now I'll say, okay, now that you get that together, let's play, how about 11, 13 on everyone? Etc. So I'll give them a bunch of like 2 chords per bar. But then I'll say, let's voice lead to the third. So third, 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 third. I'm getting to the third. Okay, let's get to the ninth on every bar. So you get into that chord tone, so they're voice leading, that's precision. So they can do it to any chord tone. So I'll say to them, okay, tell me the answer when you know it. What's the flat 13 of an A flat 7?
E,
What's the root of C major?
C,
C, right. So when you know them all like that, you've arrived, right? But if, oh, E flat 13 of an A flat 7, well, but if they're thinking like that, they don't know it, you know? So, and it's not a talent, it's just, you just go over it enough times and it's like 2 and 2 equal 4, you know?
Yeah. Sounded easy.
so it's so easy. It also sounds like you do a lot of the things you would practice on the horn. You would also do on piano. It sounds like.
I don't practice the piano at all, but from teaching all these years, I only play the piano when I teach. I don't play the saxophone because,
Okay.
yeah, I just accompany people. That's what I do.
Okay. Wow.
He's good at it.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teaching. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of teaching, yeah. Just sitting there playing chords behind people all day long, you get to know what you're doing, kind of.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I went to a psychic once. She said, you were a piano player in another lifetime. I said, oh.
That's up. Yeah, that's up.
Yeah. What about learning other instruments? Is that something you recommend people that has helped you?
If you
or-
have fun, absolutely. I used to play bass.
Yeah.
Used to.
Well, yeah, before I moved to New York City, I had a gig playing behind strippers. And,
Yeah. You did an album where you played all the instruments, right? Or
oh yeah,
didn't you?
well, I didn't play bass in that one, but I did play
Okay.
bass. I play drums sometimes when I teach, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible, but I have more fun than anybody. And I play piano and,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't practice. I do sit down and play the drums just to go dang, 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 because
Yeah.
we all have fun doing that, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll practice some polyrhythms when I'm playing the drums, you know, like, and try to hear what I want to do on the saxophone on the drums, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about dancing?
Bob Moses dances. Bob, he's a great, and he always does that, but I mean, I don't really dance.
But Bob
Yeah.
Moses seems to have that sort of African connection or ethnic something.
Yeah, he's so great at that.
Yeah.
You know, he's not teaching at NEC anymore.
I played for some Lindy Hoppers, you know, and it was, and then I thought, hey, I had to try that out, and it was very hard. So,
Yeah.
but I think it was nice to have that experience. That
Oh, absolutely.
The main focus is on dancing, and you have to support that.
Fantastic. There's a teacher at New England Conservatory, his name is Jerry Leak, and he teaches all the percussion in world music rhythms, and he has everybody playing them and dancing, and they love his class. I'd like to take his class too. Didn't get there yet. But, yeah, awesome.
Talk about that you adjust your playing for the band. What are the things that you recognize usually to like adjust your playing for the trio, for example?
Well, first of all, you have to be flexible, because every rhythm section you play with, everybody plays different. One rhythm section plays this way, another one plays that way. So it's not like, well, I'm just going to play my way and they have to play with, I'm playing with them. And if it doesn't sound right, I say to myself, something's wrong with me, not them. You know, I'm thinking, man, I'm not quite with this. What can I do to change up? I'll do this. Let me try this. Let me try that. And eventually, I get there. You know? So it's not like, yeah, these guys, I'm playing my time, you know. No. You know, you gotta be flexible. You gotta learn how to play with people and, yeah. And have a vocabulary of time feels. You know, you just can't play one way. You have to have a vocabulary of sounds and time feels that you can play with different situations.
So do you, oh, sorry.
If there's any example that you practice that or you...
Well, I think it's, for me, you know, just from playing along with Coltrane, playing with early Train, Wayne, Sonny Rollins, Johann Dexter, Hank Mobley, Stanley Tarantine, Sonny Stitt. Everybody does it their own way. There's no two players that do it the same way. They all play different, and they all play different with rhythm sections. So learning from all those, not to mention Cannonball Adderley and all the alto players, you know, and Art Pepper and Charlie Mariano and Charlie Parker and, you know, you get so you can play time different ways. But I think of like the great articulators like Cannonball and Joe Henn, Sonny Rollins. Just the way they articulate. Incredible.
Indeed.
I mean, the way Cannonball articulates, it's so advanced that I noticed, you know, you can't write it down.
No.
It's almost impossible. It doesn't make sense trying to write many of this because it's so organic. It's like,
organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just gotta play along,
It's
imitate.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And joyful.
Yeah.
It's got so much joy in his playing.
Yeah.
Humor as well.
What?
Yeah, humor as well.
And humor, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Yusef Lateef or play with him or talk with him or?
I never met him or played with him.
No.
I've seen him play,
Yeah.
but never met him.
No.
Saw Cannonball play too.
Yeah.
With Charles Lloyd was in the band, Joe Zevenol, Louis Hayes and Sam Jones and Nab Adderley, of course. They were playing all the music on Fiddler on the Roof at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I've read somewhere that Cannonball was actually inspired by tenor players.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So his way of sometimes he plays in the low register.
Yeah, he gets such a great sound down there.
What about your own playing, Jerry? How have you developed your playing from the 80s to now? are you playing more hard bebop or more emotion or what?
You know, I think to myself, when, you know, having been in the recording studio so many times, that I always tell myself, play less, play less, play less, play less. It always sounds better to me.
Yeah.
I used to go into the recording studio in the 80s with Bruce Gertz and Bob Galati, the late Bob Galati. I used to practice all this, you know, hip stuff, the playing changes, and I go in there, but the stuff that I just was off the cuff, be-a-ba-dee-da, always sounded better to me, you know?
Well, my analysis says that you are playing not as much hard bebop today than you did in the 80s with Dave Brubeck.
Yeah.
I like you better today.
Thank you.
I mean, you're playing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Because
I feel like I'm a better improviser today.
Yeah.
And, yeah, for sure. Thank you.
What, if you can remember, what made you actually become a musician? Is there a defining moment in your life, or was it just always?
Well, I
meant
was
to be?
8 years old, and
Okay.
you'll get such a kick out of this. So they came by the school, this music department, and they did this. And they said to the class, was the second note higher or lower than the first? And 50% of us got it right.
Were you in that 50%?
I was in the 50%.
Oh, really?
And they said, what instrument would you like to play? And I said, the trumpet, the trumpet, the trumpet. I said, no, according to this test, you'd be better suited to play the clarinet. So I went home to my mother and passed it out. Ma, buy me a clarinet, buy me a clarinet. Get lost, I'll give you a backhand, you know. So my father was, you know, worked for the post office. He was supported a family of $75 a week with 4 kids. Clarinet, forget it.
Yeah.
So, but finally I got this U.S. Army silver metal clarinet, and that's how I started. And my uncle, who lived a one flight up in an apartment building, he was a jazz musician. He played guitar, bass, trombone, yeah. And, you know, right from the get-go, my first, just from having him around, I was listening to Lester Young with Kansas City, with Count Basie in the Kansas City 7 or 6 or whatever it's called. Listen to those records, or I listened to Duke Ellington and Count Basie records, and then, you know, from there I got to listen to, a friend of mine came over when I was 12 with his father was a trumpet player, and I listened to Miles Davis with Train, or in the Art Blakey record with Lee Morgan and Wayne Shorter, Night in Tunisia, and Sonny Rollins record. And as soon as I heard that, I was hooked.
And then you got your first saxophone after that?
No, I got my saxophone a year before that. I was an alto. When I heard that, you know, then when I was around 12 or 13, I got a tenor.
Right.
okay.
But clarinet for a couple of years first?
Yeah, I went to college with a clarinet major, but I never practiced it. I was just, they used to throw me, I used to just to practice jazz in the practice rooms. They used to throw me out and say, the head of the music department, Dr. Edward Gilday, he'd look in, I'm giving you the hairy eyeball. Let somebody serious about music practice in here. So, having said that, if I did a flashback and I heard myself practicing back then, I would have thrown myself out.
All right.
But did you ever do a lot of doubling, like flute,
Never.
clarinet? No. It's been the tenor sax
Yeah.
since you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So musical, like that kind of big band and.
Yeah, the only big band I ever played with was George Gruntz's big band, and I just could play the tenor.
Yeah.
And,
You were lucky. They
yeah, I
didn't
was
throw a
lucky.
clarinet or flute at you.
Yeah. What happened, I had a clarinet, and a friend of mine, Bob Fritz, he borrowed it, and I chased him for 2 years to get it back. He wouldn't give it back to me, so I never played it again. But I have a bass clarinet that I play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of tenors, we know the mouthpiece now, the reed, but what horn are you playing?
This is an Adolph sax. This is ancient. One of my biggest anxieties in life, and I don't have many,
Okay.
but is getting saxophones on airplanes.
Ooh.
Because if they ever put it below, it's trashed.
Yeah.
Forget it's bent, it's this, it's that.
True.
So I just leave this in Copenhagen. It's an Adolph sax, and I think it's made in 1932. And it's not the easiest to play, and as you can see, these things are sticking.
Mm.
Did you say that Selma bought it? So it's just
Selma
like a-
bought this from the Adolph sax. They bought the company,
Yeah.
and they made them for a year or two or something like that.
Okay.
And this is like, it's kind of like an early Selma.
Like a cigar cutter, we said, right?
I would think so, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm not really sure. But I have when I'm home, I'm playing a radio improved, which is like a cigar cutter. And so it doesn't feel that foreign to me.
Radium proof. When is that from?
Yeah.
That's like right after the cigar cutter. So I asked Patrick
Okay.
Selmer, I said, what's the difference between a super, cigar cutter, radio improved? He said it's all the same, they just did a couple of different key works and it's the
Yeah.
same, it's the same body.
Yeah. Okay. I have a cigar cutter you can try if you want. We
You
can
have a
compare.
cigar cutter?
Yeah, from 1933, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Wow, what's the number?
Well, I can't remember, but it's from 1933. I'm pretty
Is it
sure.
17,000 or 16? Doesn't matter.
I know I'm not.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like the sound especially. What do you think, Benjamin? You borrowed.
Yeah.
It's really has really nice sound. It's
Yeah.
just the mechanics are kind of,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, the sound is happening, right?
Yeah.
You
really
play
nice.
it long enough to get used to it.
Yeah. I mean, I would take some. I'm maybe a little bit too lazy to really
Yeah.
work on. I mean, I have my Mark 6.
You know, you get
That
used
I-
to a Mark 6, it's like driving a sports car next to that. It's like driving
Yeah, but the
a
sound,
pickup
I mean, you can
truck.
see
Yeah.
it's bigger. The hvad hedder Schalstykke, the opening,
Yeah.
is
Bill.
bigger. The bell is bigger and the sound is bigger on the cigar
Yeah.
cut. It's a silver one too.
Oh, it's a silver one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can
I
try
love
it
those.
tonight if you have the time, because maybe we'll be eating
Great,
a few
great.
100 meters from
Yeah.
my house.
So, on all these horns, for curiosity, the bells are short. So the low notes are sharp.
Right. Okay.
So, on cigar cutters, radio improves, supers, so I put crescents in.
Put what in? Sorry.
You can see them, little crescents for the intonation.
Oh,
See
right. I
that?
see. Right. So
See that?
so the hole is slightly smaller, right?
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the whole. Yeah.
I put a
Yeah.
crescent in the B flat, and the C sharp. Then it's like totally cool.
And then it makes.
Then I can play those harmonics and they come out in tune.
Mm.
So you had a
My repairman.
Your repairman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first brought it over, before I brought it over to,
Yeah.
from the States, I had a repairman, and this guy never put him in right. I had to go back to him like 3 times, and every time he charged me, I said, man, I already paid you for it, do it right, you know, but anyway.
You call it a crescent?
Crescents, I call them
Yeah.
crescents.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They look like little crescent moons.
Yeah, yeah.
You put them,
Yeah,
so you put them in there so the note becomes flatter, because they're sharp.
Yeah.
Mm. Right.
It's a shorter bell. Even on the balanced actions, not the super balanced, they finally made the bell longer. But the balanced actions have short bells.
Mm.
But on a balance, for some reason, I just put the crescent on the low C. C or the B?
Yeah.
B, I think.
So
Low B.
speaking of intonation, you say you really try to have a very loose undershirt. So that's all throat work intonation, or how? Are you not conscious about it anymore? Like how you actually?
No, I mean, especially with these ones, they're all funky intonation.
Mm,
So
yeah.
I'm always I played I did a gig. Where was it? In St. John's, Newfoundland. That's the easternmost point in North America.
Oh, okay.
And because of fear of not being able to get my horn on, and they always give me a jazz flight, you know, boarding group number 10, you know. So I'm the last guy to get on board. So I said, get me a horn. So I got a Mark 6, it was 132,000. The intonation was amazing. I didn't have to adjust for anything. I was blown away. I said, holy shit, this is so easy to play. So I might have to look for 130, around that serial.
I mean,
Late 60s or something, maybe.
what made it so expensive? That, like, was it just very well kept, or that sounds like crazy?
What do you mean expensive?
No, serial number.
It was a serial
No,
number.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
It was 132,000 serial number.
I get it now.
Yeah,
Sorry.
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 Yeah, it was so easy to play.
Yeah. Especially compared to, you know. old
Yeah, my
people.
first one that my parents bought me was an 80,000 Mark 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they did end up buying you one, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they knew I had the disease. Go ahead.
Do you still have that horn?
No, I sold it.
Okay.
Had no lacquer left. The pearls were worn down to the metal almost, you know.
Nice.
Questions?
You have also, I've seen you play with different necks.
Oh, yeah, when I'm home, I have these Kim Bach necks. They're fantastic.
Kim Bach, he's from here.
Kim Bach's Danish.
Yeah, he's from our town here.
He's from your
Yeah,
town?
he's from here. Aarhus. He's from Aarhus.
No.
Or originally from here. He lived here 5-10 years
Oh, man,
before going to
do you know him
Norway.
at all?
No.
Yeah, han er fra Riberbrønd.
Do you know him at all?
No.
Yeah, I played with him when he lived in
What
Aarhus.
a great guy, man.
Yeah.
He's the sweetest guy.
He is.
And you know, I always think to myself, if I wasn't a musician, I'd want to be an instrument maker, you know, whether it be string instruments, cymbals, trumpets, saxophones, I don't care. I just to be enveloped in sounds. And he is so dedicated, man.
Yeah,
He's
he is.
doing all kinds of new stuff with these necks. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So when I'm home and I'm playing my radio improved, I'm playing his neck on it.
Yeah. So you've been to his repair shop in,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got another one now. It's in the basement of the same building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he live in Denmark today?
No, he lives in New York.
He lives in New York
He has
City.
his
Okay.
place in New York.
Okay, I saw him on the
In
news.
Queens, right?
Yeah.
Have you been?
Sure,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really nice place.
Yeah, he's
he
great.
has quite a lot of success now.
God
What
bless
kind of
him.
neck
He
do you
did-
have then?
What?
What kind of conduct neck do you have?
Vanguard copper, hammered copper.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have one?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're great.
Yeah. He's a good saxophone player too. I don't know how much he plays now, but he. I mean,
He's fantastic.
he's a
Every
really
time
good
I hear him, and he doesn't think anything of it the way he plays. He plays awesome.
yeah.
What does it do? Does it change a lot? The neck, the new neck, or different neck? Or does it help with intonation?
Well, with hammered copper, it's a deep tone, you know? And, yeah, it's just different, but it's focused. And he's doing a lot of research, so he's always coming up with, like, lately, you see how this right here, this put on after, and this is put on after. He's making it so it's put on right at the get-go.
Right.
Yeah, and he's doing them in copper, brass. Is there one called mince? Mince brass, munce. It's a harder brass. And then he's even doing one in,
I have it here.
All right.
Don't drop it.
and that's a copper.
Same as everybody, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought they were,
$1,000, okay.
That is super.
Yeah.
What you should get a music store here and order like 20 of them and put them in and get a cheap price.
Yeah.
You know it.
But, you know, I'm tired of talking about saxophones. Let's talk about cymbals. Anders, come on, man. Show them these cymbals that are made from Lessa. He's Danish, and these cymbals are like the bomb.
Yeah.
What's his name? Who makes it? Oh, her.
It's a funk.
That's a funk.
Yeah. It's a funk.
Now, if you play all the things you are for as a duo, you can hear those things.
All the things you are in a what?
In a duo, we can
Oh,
hear the
with
singers.
Anders?
That would be the idea. Just to
That's a very good idea.
I'm just gonna play brushes.
One, two, 3.
actually think that the cymbals.
Man, those cymbals are fucking great.
No, but you said something about, since we're saxophone with the time here, that the more complex the cymbal is, the better. You really don't like them very dry.
Well,
I mean, and not that you don't like them, but I mean the way that it fits.
it gives me some sustain. You know, it's like reverb.
Yeah,
If they have a little wash.
yeah.
So it's the perfect amount of wash you're looking for. Because sometimes you don't hear the stick if it's too much wash. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Those are great cymbals, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And I love the way you play them, of course. Yeah.
So was it Lasse Funk or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody buys from him now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy some too.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I know.
That's a lot.
Yes.
It's a work in progress. You know the thing about this? We're all doing the same thing. It's a labor of love. I mean, this is like, it's so great to be able to just do this for your whole life.
Yeah.
Just work on it, an art form, and everybody does it different. Everybody's valid. Everybody does it their own way. Everybody's got a sound. I tell people, man, if you breathe, you're valid. And you know, people say, well, man, you play really sophisticated. A beginner can be in the moment.
Mhm.
They're in the moment. There, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. It doesn't matter how good you play. Yes.
The thing about this, being in the moment, and also I'm starting to, practice mindfulness and think about how could I connect that with playing or working on my instrument. Have you any thoughts about?
Say that once more.
So how do I connect mindfulness practice, meditation with playing saxophone?
Yeah, being on the road, when I was on the road with Dave Brubeck for like 6 years, all the time was travel. I get up in the morning, we travel all day, because there were great distances we had to travel, because he couldn't play a gig like it was 100 miles away, contract-wise, So I'd be practicing mentally all day. And just to be able to shut off the rest of the world and practice something, even if it was something like, I'd play something in all keys, like, and I'm just sitting there with my mind, but real slow, and wherever I made a mistake in my mind is where I made a mistake with the horn. So I'm just sitting there practicing things like that. Then I'm sitting there just trying to, before I even start, just long tones. Let me hear the sound I want, See how much does it project. And I always think about this, that the louder we play, the more everybody sounds alike. Because all the overtones are in it. It's when you play softer and you decide which overtones you're going to delete from your sound that we sound different, But everybody's got a sound. You can't help it. Yeah, so I just walk up, my practice room, I have a great attic. It's fairly big. And as soon as I walk into my attic, I'm there, because I practice it all the time. I walk in, I'm like, oh, yes. And I just start doing what I'm going to do. And the hardest thing about practicing is the first 10 or 15 minutes. After that, you're in the zone.
Yeah.
Just do it. Sit down for the 10 or 15 minutes and get it over with. Then you're there.
How much do you practice if you keep score and still?
Well, I teach.
Yeah.
I got to do different things, but I can go up in the attic and spend the whole day up there. I say, man, I got to go down. I haven't seen my wife all day. She's going to think I'm nuts, But she doesn't, because she's a piano player. She knows.
Right.
But I'll just, writing tunes, like my piano's up there, might write a tune and my drums are up there, so I'm lost in space. But, I'm always working on something, so.
Is it like a structured approach in the sense that, okay, now I'm gonna spend X amount of time doing
It used
this?
to be, it's not anymore.
Or so now it's more like you get stuck on something, or something like.
I'm more, like, lately, the past little bit, I've been just working articulations, varying notes and that kind of thing.
So what, burying notes?
Burying ghost notes.
Oh, right, okay.
And
Okay, yeah.
how much do I want to tone, how much do I don't want to tone, things like that. Where I want to put the time.
So, could you demonstrate that? Like practicing articulation?
Well, sometimes, I can play like. So I'm burying a lot of notes. I'm tonguing all those notes, even at a, And I'm burying notes, so I'm thinking things like that.
So burying by like
Ghost.
muting
them.
Yeah, muting, yeah.
So where to put the tongue, where to take it off, that sort of thing.
But doing it like you just did, like not it didn't sound like an exercise for you. You were just
No, I'm playing.
You're just playing, yeah, just
Yeah.
messing around.
I'm just messing around, yeah.
Okay, but being mindful about.
Yeah,
it.
being mindful and great word, thank you. Sometimes I'll do this like. Just and see how much I can, I'm seeing one take it off and put it on. And every mouthpiece plays different.
Yeah.
So I'm practicing that kind of thing, and of course I'm always practicing groupings. I'll put on play along and just play across the time. It's easier for me to with a rhythm section,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So like what, Abersold or just whatever you got?
No,
play
actually, the Bergonzi play along.
But what about metronome practice, or is it mostly play alongs?
I haven't played with a metronome in 45 years, something like that.
You see, somebody told me that, he told me that you told him that when you have students who have bad time, you don't make them practice with a metronome.
No, I said that's because they practice with a metronome.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, could you elaborate?
Yeah, what happens, they practice with a metronome and they're used to this outside click, so you take the click away and they don't have any time. So I said, man, you gotta be the metronome.
Okay.
You are the metronome. Oh, I can tell this guy sounds really stiff. So you practice with a metronome, right? I said, yeah. I said, it sounds like it. And so, but I'm being facetious right now. The real deal, I'm going to be really truthful here.
Okay.
Practice with one, because metronomes don't lie. Then practice without one. One day with, one day without. One day with, one day without. Or 1 week with, 1 week without. Then you get the time internally, because you got to be the metronome.
Maybe practice drumming too.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just sit there and go, ding, ding, ding. And I'm just thinking, ding, ding. And I hear I visualize too a big wheel. Ding, 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 ding. Bang, ding, ding. And I see this wheel moving, and I see the wheel hit every 2 bars. And I try to keep it even,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I hear the subdivisions. I hear, and I'll just play quarter notes on the snare too. but not ding, ding,
Right.
like a fat, like almost like a water balloon.
Right.
It has an
Okay.
afterlife, you know?
Is it fair to say that visualization is like an important part of your practice?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. But even when you practice, what we spoke about earlier, the groupings, fives and sevens and nines,
Yeah.
you practice that without a metronome. Like, how do you keep time? How do you-
Sometimes, yeah.
Play along also, you said.
Well, we'll play along, but I'll practice that without metronome, just by doing the scales, like I said, 1 to 11 with fives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, like. Like that.
Okay. I was just wondering how you would make sure that you weren't
Well,
rushing it.
that was really obvious, right?
Yeah.
You hear me tapping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
An experienced foot.
An experience for
Mine,
Turn foot.
the foot nose, that's a good term, the foot nose.
Blue note. No.
How would you practice, so let's say 40, 50 years ago? How much and how?
I would write down everything I'm doing. And here's my cliche. I plan my work and I work my plan. I would write out, depending how many hours, say you had like 3 hours a day, exactly what you're gonna do for the first 15 minutes, the next half hour, the next, write it out and follow it religiously every day. And then you go play a session and say, man, I need to practice this, so you change something. And you delete something else and then you can see your progress like that. Yeah, it's great.
But why did you stop doing it then? Or do you still do that?
Well, because my life is so erratic.
Okay.
You know, I can't do, I didn't have I didn't have a wife, I didn't have kids. Well, my kids are grown up now, but I didn't have to go to the, I didn't do any shopping I didn't do any house cleaning, I was like, I live like an animal. I just like,
Just practice.
so I can plan my work and work my plan and do it every day. Today I've got responsibilities. I have to teach, I gotta go get my car fixed, I've gotta go grocery shopping, I got, do this, do that, I gotta go play a gig, so it's different.
Mm.
You've got a very special neck strap.
Yes, it's great, I love it. It's a BG. It's a
Okay.
BG, you know the kind? So,
French.
yeah, it's French. So, I had the one, they make another one that's, Garzone uses that one. Goes around here,
Yeah.
and then it's like this. The problem was, I kept pushing the horn up, and then I got this, my thumb was messed up. I went to a hand doctor and they said, well, yeah, they shot cortisone in it, and it was cool for 8 months, and they had to do it again. So if we have to do it again, we're gonna have to operate. So I said, man, I've been playing a saxophone my whole, what's up with my thumb? I figured out it was the strap, because now,
Because
with
you-
this, I can do this.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that with my other strap. So, as soon as I switched, my thumb was cool.
Yeah.
So the problem with this strap,
Do you have any issues with your fingers or,
this thumb has been driving me crazy lately, just because I've been doing these things at home, working on mouthpieces, holding this gauge, and I think I overdid it because my thumb's been screwed up for a couple of months.
okay.
Mm.
Maybe I have to go see a hand doctor and they'll tell me what to do. Not bad.
But you feel, your body is, I'm thinking it because I'm getting older, we're all getting older, but, are you fit, do you feel fit, do you feel you have to do anything for your body to be able to do what you want to do? Like any exercises or?
Well, last summer I swam a mile a day.
Okay.
This summer, because we got the pool started, I already started, I was swimming a mile a day before I left. And now when I go back, I'll start swimming again, but I got so much work
Yeah.
that the pool season for me is not that long in New England, but I gotta join the, before COVID, I belonged to a gym that had a pool, so I would go swim 2 times a week and swim my mile.
Yeah.
And that keeps me fit. But other than that, I don't do too much. I try to take walks, of course, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel fine.
Yeah. The swimming is good.
Swimming's great.
Yeah.
How about closing with a tune, maybe?
A tune?
Yeah. We got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
It's also fully good.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Did he? 1,
I guess this is.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Thank you.